Dead by Daylight has a lot of small, interesting but useless details that can be found in many skins and maps that are in the game. I have been looking through each texture and model in order to showcase the coolest details. Hi, my name is MintSkull and today I'm going to showcase some of the coolest, interesting but useless details in Dead by Daylight. So let's start with my favorite survivor, Ace Visconti. One of Ace's skins in the store, the Ace Vega skin, has some pants where you can see dollar bills hanging in the pocket. Well, what you probably don't know is that the dollar bills actually have Ace's face on them, which is a really cool detail that you might never notice in game. This is exclusive to Ace's skin, since another one also has dollar bills, but they are real dollar bills instead. Another really cool detail I noticed is found on the Huntress battle tested hatchet. If you look at this weapon in game, you will see that there are tags in the shaft of the axe. However, by taking a closer look of the tags, we can actually see that each of the tags contains a name and profession, which would be practically impossible to read in game. The fact that the developers put so much detail in some stuff that cannot be seen in game is actually very impressive. Another weapon detail that can be found is a more known one, especially if you ever cosplayed Susie, but I would still like to mention it. If you're familiar with the Legion's concept art, you will see that on her ruler weapon, she has her name written on it with a smiley face. Now in the store icon you cannot see this face, and the way the killer holds this ruler, you cannot see it in game either unless you start a feral frenzy. However, even then it's not seen clearly. Well, in the game files you can see this name and the smiley face without any obstructions. This cool fact I found thanks to a comment in one of my facts video made by user William Bill Overbeck, where they said that in the cigarette of Bill you can see the text of the name of the voice actor. Now sadly this is partially correct, because for my surprise the devs actually put some text in Bill's cigarette, but it's not the voice actor's name, as it seems to be the brand of cigarettes that Bill smokes, called El Kirchmer Tradicional. Either way, thank you for your comment. Now going back to Mr. Ace Visconti, our favorite gambling addict. If you have been in my channel for very long, you would have probably seen my most viewed video, where I talk about some cool details that can be found in the torso textures of various survivors. One of the details is a scar located in the lower torso of Ace Visconti, which I theorized was a kidney scar, however it might just have been an appendicitis one. Now I said that this is not visible in any skins in DBD, but I found out that I was wrong, since you can actually see the scar texture if you somehow glitch this specific torso skin for Ace Visconti. As you can see, if we check inside, you will see the torso texture used showing Ace's scar. And now let's talk about eyes, shall we? A fact I did not expect at all is how the doctor actually has an eye inside his pincushion heads. This might not seem very special, but this is the only case of a skin having an eye that is not visible, as the rest of the skins that have closed eyes by default have nothing inside. It is impossible to see the eye in game. But this is not the only fact that impressed me that has something related with eyes. For some very odd reason, in the nurse's shrouded face, there is an eye in the back of her neck and it looks really disgusting. But this is not the worst I have seen. Take a look at Nia's gas mask.
Well, Mr. Funny Man, is this how you get your sick kicks?
What? It's just an ordinary crabby. Oh my goodness!
That is absolutely disgusting. To all toxic Nia mains, enjoy knowing that you have an eye on your tongue. Now let's look at something more pleasant. How about some watches? A lot of Dead by Daylight skins have a watch somewhere on them, and I'm not going to show each and every single one here. Instead, I will show the coolest watches I have found, and for my surprise, only 2 of them have something interesting, and at the same time, something I would never expect in DBD. In Kate's Valentine's Day skin, you can find a watch on her left wrist that actually has Kate's name on it. Again, this is such a small detail that many people would not notice. But the fact that impressed me the most is Yunjin's watch in her pajama skin, because it is actually from the Elgin brand. Is this the only product placement in the entire game of Dead by Daylight? I have never seen a reference to an actual brand in Dead by Daylight without it being a parody, and this is such a weird but cool fact that I just wanted to share. Since we are on the topic of real life stuff inside Dead by Daylight, I found 2 interesting things on Dwight skins that you can actually buy in real life. And no, this video is not sponsored by anyone, but I am open to sponsors. Come on NordVPN or Raid, please. Anyways, on Dwight's default skin, you can find many cool and fun patches. One of them has a pizza pun as another one bites the crust. And I thought, hey, a Queen reference in DBD. Actually, you can buy this same patch on the internet, so an artist in behavior was inspired by this when creating this skin for Dwight. Another really cool one I found is inside Dwight's tropical skin bag. You can see that he has a book, and this book has a lot of parts that cannot be seen in game. However, what's cooler is that you can actually buy this exact same book in real life as well. I guess this helps if you want to cosplay Dwight. You know what would help me? You giving me a like if you found this video interesting. If you do, thank you. It helps a lot. And this is a quick intermission showing Trickster's autograph that he throws at the survivors during his mori. Another thing that you might not see clearly and you might be curious about is Michaela's book, since it's practically impossible to take a peek at what she reads in the lobby. This is the book texture files, and sadly, there is no text we can read, but it does look cool regardless. A really odd detail that I found is that Kate and Meg share the same pattern for one of their skins, which is this digital pink pattern that you can see in game. I never noticed this, but I thought it was cool to share. And reusing assets is something extremely common in video games in order to save up on resources and time. And the most interesting reuse of assets that I found in DBD is in this weird image that contains various paintings that I cannot find in game. So if you have any idea of where these paintings are used, please comment so I can take a look in game. So one of the paintings contains aerial views and screenshots of various places in the map, like Coldwind, Ormond, Sanctuary of Wrath, and the Asylum. But what's funnier are the other set of paintings, as you can see 2 animals, a wolf and a tiger, and 2 survivors, Dwight and Kate. What I found really curious is how Behavior decided to implement wildlife in the game, because if you're a Resident Evil fan, you will notice instantly how these are the animals that you can find on the RPD map in Chief Iron's room. So they took the wolf and placed it outside of Ormond's walls, and the tiger somewhere in the Yamaoka State maps. I find this really curious because they are repurposing assets from another game in order to decorate their own game. And now, the part you are probably waited for the most. If you remember the useless facts video, the fact I said for Nurse was that Behavior decided to texture her underwear in a very weird way. However, what I didn't know is that the weird texture is actually used in game, and you can technically see it if you position your camera well. However, I don't know anyone with this skin, so I cannot test this in game. But the skin in question is the Ashen Lady skin that you could obtain in Tome 6 Divergence. All of the Nurse skins are actually very revealing if you look under the dress. But if you look under the dress of the before mentioned skin, you can see the exact thing I was talking about in the facts video. And honestly, it's actually something really weird, but guess what? During this investigation, I have found a lot of weird stuff that I do not understand why Behavior decided to texture. But since I don't want to make this video too long and boring, I will showcase this and more in the part 2 of this vid if this gets enough support. So if you enjoyed this type of content, make sure to give a like to help grow the channel, as well as subscribe so I can appear on your feed when I release the chapter 2. Thank you for watching.